like a bit before we start talking, because then.
No, it's on.
Okay.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the second episode of Wrestletalk. This time we're getting more into unlike last week, welcome to the doldrums of Raw. Oh, because that was pretty painful. But let's start with the good stuff, because you always got to start positive. Uh, I'm the host, Chris Hansbrough, and joining me is my good friend Sergio Talavera.
Yeah, Raw, man. Raw, man. Only good thing about Raw was when you got to, well, if you did like I did, was you got to turn it off, and then you got to watch the Edge and Christian SmackDown 50th anniversary thing, which was really funny and very good.
I was going to say we've got to dedicate some time to that because that was great. I
Hmm.
would just WWE Network, please give Edge and Christian like a talk show. Let them go for like an hour a week, having guests, and instead of the Michael Cole, show, have it just be Edge
Edge
and
and Christian.
Christian's Variety Hour because that was great. But no, we got to start with the positive and the most recent thing we watched, which means we're going to talk a little bit about NXT, which I quite enjoyed. Uh, it opened with the his gorgeousness himself, Tyler Breeze, facing that Ugo Mojo Raleigh.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about that first little beat down there?
Um, it was interesting because really, like, it's like a really. I don't know if they're like actually building a feud or it's more like, hey, this is a thing that happens. So Mojo requested a match so he could get the shit kicked out of him. To be fair, it was a Mojo Rawley match, so I kind of phased out, and I was
Yeah.
playing Shadow of Mordor at the time. So I'm like, I'm just gonna be like this, because like the setup right here, this is my computer, my TV's over here. So I'm like,
Yeah, that sure is a Mojo Raleigh match.
yeah,
And yeah, that was. I liked the fact that it was really just Tyler Breeze beating the shit out of his shoulder to the point where the ref, even without tapping, just called it off.
yeah.
Which
He's like, this is super dangerous. His arm may be broken, whatever. I need to stop this match.
you got to stop. You got to stop beating up that Ugo. And I still love that every week he comes from a different place.
Yep. Seasonal residence at blank. I think his
Yeah.
seasonal residence this week was somewhere in the Netherlands.
Yes.
It was somewhere in the Netherlands. Yep.
This is like Helsinki, Finland. It was like
Yeah.
Helsinki,
Also,
Finland or something.
no, it was Helsinki, Finland.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Nether. Yeah, okay. So, by the way, did you notice during all of NXT a lack of terrible commentary?
Yes. I'm sorry.
Because
Jason
one,
Albert is
yeah,
great.
because
Uh,
one Alex Riley was John Laryngitis the other day,
uh,
according to Rio '89.
well, this set of NXT tapings is just start. This is a new set, I think, or that might start next week. I saw some of the same people in the crowd, but you always see the same people in the crowd.
Yeah, very. You
But
get very few additions to the NXT crowd because, from what I hear from friends who live in Florida in the area of Full Sail University, those tickets go out real quick, like
yep,
real fast, because the people who have been sitting in NXT for quite a while, watching NXT for quite a while, are like very closely guard like the tickets and stuff because they want people in there who are like genuinely interested in what's going on.
yeah,
So.
and they don't want people like that was my biggest problem with like Takeover, as you can tell, those are the times you get outside people in there
Hmm.
because of the asshats trying to start,
The
CM
CM
Punk
Punk chant,
chants,
yeah.
which nothing annoys me more than the CM Punk chant. Uh, okay, that you open it with a squash match, but then you get my favorite part of
I know.
NXT for like the last 2 months, which has just been the big cast with his cell phone segments
Yep, yep,
and Enzo being a dummy.
yep. I love the ending where he's like, and don't, I'm not even gonna tell you not to post it because you've been posting them anyway.
Yeah, those were pretty great. And every time. But and then it continued with recap videos, which kind of bugged me because Raw is a 3 hour show, so I can see why they use like 45 minutes of fucking recaps every week. But
Mhm.
uh, I don't really want a 10-minute recap video on NXT. Even if it is
Yeah,
going over the whole feud with Hideo Itami.
the 3-week-old feud.
Yeah, it's guys, you don't need a promo package that long. Show a couple of
Nope.
things, but you went over the whole thing.
Yep.
Which I guess it makes sense if you're new to things. Uh, him like hanging out with Funaki in the back. Okay, that's pretty cool and whatnot.
Mhm.
But then you had the match, and that guy's really got to work on his entrance.
Mhm.
That's my issue with Hideo right now is his entrance just feels kind of lifeless.
Slow.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like he really has one yet. Which I think
Right.
is the
Right.
case because he just comes out, does the Adrian Neville, and then
Mhm.
walks to the ring and stands in the middle and does the Adrian Neville, and then he goes to his corner. So that can be kind of, yeah,
It could be better.
yeah, exactly. And then you get the match, which was kind of, kind of slow, but brutal at the same time.
Yep.
How'd you feel about the match?
Um, it was much slower paced than I thought because both those guys can go. Like both those guys can go at a pretty steady pace. Uh, Kenta more so than Victor, but or Hideo, sorry, more so than Victor, but they can both go at a pretty steady pace. I'm not wasn't sure. It's probably the first time like they actually work together, so it might be more of a precautionary measure
Yeah.
to go a little slower. Um, but it was still an enjoyable match to watch. And then the ending was a little. I,
Hey, they're beating a guy half to death. Okay, they fall of man an unconscious guy, and
yeah, and to be fair, the whole like ropes around the arm thing, I don't buy that anymore. It looks really easy to like slip out of that.
yeah,
It looks really easy to slip out of that.
the whole that segment was probably my least favorite of the night, which is kind of saying something when you still enjoy your least favorite segment of the night,
Mm-hmm.
which is you know that's a good thing. Then, of course, next you had the fantasticness of the vaudevillains coming out in their new shirts, which, holy crap, I need to order
Mm-hmm.
one of those because they're great.
It's a pretty great shirt.
And, God, I love watching those guys work in ring, too, especially now that they've got a tag team finisher
Mm-hmm.
and they're working super well today together. And then you have Enzo and Big Cass come out, and Enzo changing up his intro a little bit.
Yeah, I was kind of sad he didn't say, and you can't teach that, but
But at the same time, it was just a bunch of really nerdy Star Wars references, which goes on
Yeah.
to, which sort of shows my favorite thing about professional wrestling, which is these are all just a bunch of really, really chiseled fucking nerds.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, good God, can you get any nerdier than, and my mic is a fucking lightsaber?
Yes, your entire gimmick is the Black Power Ranger.
Yeah,
Yeah. Xavier
but
Woods has everyone taught his entire gimmick as he is the Black Power Ranger. Just,
kind
kind
of
of,
the best.
yeah.
I love Xavier Woods and kind of really, really wish I want that team to debut. I want the smart, athletic Wrestle Friends. Damn it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. Uh, but then you had the match, which how'd you feel about that one? That was kind of really good.
It was very good. It was very good. Don't really have any complaints.
Like I really liked a couple of the points, like when frickin' Big Cass came in, took the hot tag, and just started cleaning house
Mhm.
for a
Mhm.
little bit, but then makes the mistake of tagging Enzo in at the wrong time,
Yep.
and kaboom! What happens? He gets knocked off the apron, and then Enzo gets to face the big strong man,
Mhm.
and boom! That was God, I love the way their finisher works, and I really kind
Yep.
of like the way he hits that senton and rolls over and immediately for the pin. It
Yep.
is
It's a very good tag team finisher.
well, it's better than the fall of man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anything's better than the fall of man. It's I got flipped over by a stiff breeze. These two guys ran close to me. Ah!
Yep. Pretty much.
Although, to be fair, both Hideo and Funaki this week made it look like they actually killed them,
Yeah. They sold it pretty well.
which most people don't. Which, yeah. And then, it's been a while since we've seen her, but Becky Lynch, no longer a river dancer, now a hardcore metalhead,
Yep. I
comes
like this gimmick
headbanging
better.
down the ring, and
I like this gimmick better.
I do too.
Like
That
holy
is
hell, I like this
much
gimmick better.
That is much, much better. The river dancing thing was just like, are you kidding me? That is somehow more Irish than Finn Balor.
Yeah.
It is. And then you had a damn good match. Sasha
Mhm.
Banks can fucking go.
I think I mean they can both go.
Yeah.
Sasha Banks a little more, but they can both go. Like
I
I
like
love the
Sasha Banks
I
can
love the
go the WWE style, but Rebecca Knox can fucking go.
yeah, I like the beginning of the match where she fucking whipped the hair in her face. That was the greatest thing ever. That was the greatest thing ever.
That was probably my favorite spot of the night right there. Is that and frickin' hitting that submission finisher?
Mhm.
That is probably the best submission finisher in the WWE right now at this point because it starts with a fucking backstabber and then gets you put into a nasty looking crossface.
Mhm.
It's like good. More of that. I'm
I
really
mean, it's no yes lock or cattle mutilation, but you know.
yeah, but it's better than the accolade,
Well, yeah. It,
which is
it's a camel
just
clutch.
yeah.
It's very clearly just a camel clutch. It's like,
Like
hey, I'm not gonna add some like weird pizzazz to it. It's just like, hey, look,
a
I'm
camel clutch.
yeah, I'm like, hey, I'm the Russian Iron Sheik. So, you know.
I'm I'm the Bulgarian Iron
Oh
Sheik.
yeah, the Bulgarian Iron Sheik.
The Bulgarian Russian.
Mhm.
Oh boy, that. But yeah, that was a damn good match, and I'm super happy having watched it. And then you finished it off with finished the show with Sami Zayn and Tice.
Titus O'Neil.
Yeah, Titus, and that was great.
That was really
Uh,
good.
and it kind of illustrates my one problem with Sami Zayn is that he's so fucking likable that
Mhm.
he's going to have the same issue as, say, Daniel Bryan or Dolph Ziggler, in
Mhm.
that they're better when they're losing. They are a whole lot more interesting when they're getting their ass kicked.
It's possible.
And there's a tale of them rising to the top. Like once Daniel Bryan won WrestleMania, what happened with him? How'd you feel about Daniel Bryan after WrestleMania?
I was pretty excited about Daniel Bryan.
I was, but then a month later when he's facing the Demon Kane.
It was still Daniel Bryan, so I was okay with it.
Okay, but my point is though is that once they get to the top, there's no place to really go but
I mean, I
down,
feel
and people are going to struggle to find them storylines.
right, and I feel that's the problem. That's more of a problem with the state of creative rather than the state of
Yeah,
wrestlers. I mean, but there has to be like because NXT shows this pretty well, where the WWE like main stuff is more of that like, hey, like I'm not gonna say normal wrestling, but like the normal storylines we've been getting like the last 10 years, whereas NXT is more like a very light version of Japanese wrestling, where it's like, who gives a fuck which one's the face and the heel? This is like an actual wrestling match. This is a fight. This is like who's better. Like
yeah.
fuck bad guy, good guy. Like who is better?
It's kind of what way back in the day, what WCW and uh, Jim Crockett and all of them tried to
Mhm.
promote themselves as we are a sport, we
Mhm.
are real
Mhm.
in a way. In that, yeah, like Sami Zayn, good God, he got the shit kicked out of him in this match, and the whole time you're like, it was very cringy at times.
Mhm.
And then he got his big baby face comeback, throwing him over the ropes and getting his big ass flip in. And
And the haluva kick, which is really awesome looking.
God, I mean, that was a great, great match. And it ended the way you kind of expected, with a giant ass power bomb
Mhm.
from him. But I really enjoyed that match outside of the 5 minute long bear hug, which I also enjoyed because he's a heel and he's supposed to be boring.
Mhm.
And just, yeah,
The whole
that was,
power thing.
yeah, he's a heel who is like 2 feet taller and can just beat the piss out of him. And that is the kind of
NXT.
thing I really like seeing. And next week I'm I'm excited for next week because we get the debut of Carmella. It sounds like.
That's true.
And I'm totally excited to see this girl come to the ring with Enzo and be like, "Bada bing, hottest dame in the ring," or some new catchphrase,
Yeah. We'll see if she
slightly
actually says
different.
that.
I wonder if she's going to take the mic, or
I
if it'll
wonder.
still be Enzo coming down shouting his dumb crap.
Mhm.
It'll.
It might go something like this. Like he comes in, he starts shouting his dumb crap, then she takes the mic from him.
I hope so. I
And
really
then
do.
she like reprimands him like I don't need you.
I know people who were there for those tapings,
Mhm.
but I am really like I have been like, do not fucking tell me what happened. I do not want to know.
I will come to your house and
I will
piss in
come
your
to your
coffee.
house and just pee in your cornflakes. You will not ruin NXT for me. Like, I already got spoiled on Hideo Itami's frickin' tag team partner, and I can't wait, but I
Mhm.
really, really would have really loved the giant pop I would have had going "Ah!" when he popped out.
Mhm.
And I can't wait for that match, though. That's still 3 weeks away.
Yep.
Uh, So I guess now that NXT is done, we have to move on to talking about more positive things, which is the Edge and Christian's 15th anniversary SmackDown extravaganza of awesome tacularificness.
I don't remember the title. but
Awesomenessitude
it was something like
of awesomeness.
it was like that reeks of awesomeness was like
Yes,
the
recap
subtitle.
show that reeks of awesomeness.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. As I
Mhm.
said at the beginning, I could watch those guys go for days.
Yep.
Like, give them a weekly talk show, please. I know
Not
you
gonna
scour
happen.
the internet for
Vince
random
fucking
wrestling.
hates Christian.
Yeah, what?
I was like, no, because Vince fucking hates Christian because he thinks he's like an ugly troll.
He is, but that's why he's so great. I love God. They just work so well together. Still,
Mhm.
it's super great seeing them together, and I
There's
really miss that.
genuinely funny moments, like and the like the clips they showed. Some of that stuff I'd completely forgotten about.
Yeah,
Like I'd forgotten a bunch of the stuff that they showed in there.
I still love just the whole thing was about Edge. Anytime they showed Edge and Christian highlights,
Mhm.
it was they didn't show one tag team highlight of those two, did they? Outside of the B-roll.
Outside the B-roll, no, I don't think so. Um, they did show a match that they were in, but they showed like Jeff Hardy getting a steel chair thrown at him and then jumping over said steel chair into one of the Dudley Boys down below. But that was
God,
like that was it. That like I distinctly remember that Edge and Christian were also in that match. But um, other than that, they didn't really show Edge and Christian actually wrestling together. So they did, however, which made me really, really sad, show when one Blandy Borton won the World Heavyweight Championship from Christian on a SmackDown, and I was
when one Randy, the greatest wrestler in the world, Orton, king of all wrestling.
you're just doing that to annoy me because I know in your heart you would never actually say that Randy Orton is the best wrestler in the world.
Randy Orton is the best goddamn wrestler in the world because he makes everyone he's working with look 10 times better.
I'm speechless.
Yeah.
I'm speechless at the fact that you have
He's
said that Blandy fucking Borton is the best wrestler in the world.
he is he is absolutely one of the best on that roster at making other people look great. And he is also the best at making himself look like the most boring guy in existence, which he's been doing for like a year, which is why I also want the return of psychotic legend killer, I'm going to destroy everyone, Randy Orton, which I hope this is where everything's
Randomly
going.
stalk Stephanie McMahon, Randy Orton.
Randy Orton that
Yeah.
would frickin' come out of nowhere and RKO old men. Yes, give me that Randy Orton back. Give me the legend killer. Give me
You and I
the
have
guy
very
that really just liked kicking ass.
you and I have very different tastes in WrestleMans.
Yeah, I like people who are good at wrestling. And I'm sorry, but like somehow that guy made someone who is not ready for the top stage look like he could be on the top stage.
Oh, speaking of people who can't wrestle, so during the 15 like the 15 years SmackDown clip show, they showed like the debut of one Juan Cena. That debut match is probably his best match ever. Like sweet
No,
Jesus, holy
that big
crap!
Brock Lesnar match at Extreme Rules
Oh
was
yeah, that's true.
incredible.
That's true.
As well as the
But I
Brock
saw
Lesnar
more.
match where at SummerSlam where he just got his ass kicked and let himself get.
True, but that I mean I mean in the way of Juan Cena actually doing wrestling things,
Yeah.
which is unheard of in this day and age.
No,
But
he's a good
yeah,
wrestler. Like I'm sorry. Juan Cena, as you like to say, is people hate him because he's the best. And not the best as in the actual best at wrestling, but he wins.
Yep.
That's his problem. It's like I'm pretty darn sure that WrestleMania is going to be where Rusev finally loses, and it's going to be to Juan Cena.
You're still speculating that Juan Cena is going to demean himself,
Yes,
and go up against Rusev. And you're
yes,
also still speculating that Rusev will still be a no. That the Rusev storyline will still be a rather big thing
yep,
come WrestleMania.
yep.
Speaking of WrestleMania, so did you hear that the Royal Rumble is now a 40-man Rumble,
Yes, I did.
which to me sounds like they're gonna throw in a metric fuck ton of the NXT guys.
And we all know who's going to win the Royal Rumble, don't we? I'm super excited about it because it's finally time that Zack Ryder Royal Rumble. I almost said, one of these. I'm sorry. One of these fucking years, they have to actually let Kofi Kingston win a
Win the
goddamn
Royal
Royal
Rumble.
Rumble
Yeah.
because holy shit. Like every year, the biggest draw of the Royal Rumble is what will Kofi do this year to stay in bounds?
Mm-hmm.
Yet somehow he's never actually won one, despite probably being the most exciting part every year.
Mm-hmm. That's because he's probably a perpetual mid-carder.
Oh yeah,
So
forever. But I mean, he won't win the Royal Rumble, but I'd like to see him win just one of your basic 30 man in the ring Rumbles.
Rumbles, yeah. Yeah, we'll
Over
see.
the over 30 men over the top rope battle royal, just go. Let Kofi do one of his crazy ass stunts and fucking win. You let the Miz win after going through the middle rope. Let Kofi win after diving over and just standing on the edge and nobody expects that he's still in.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's time to move on to Raw.
it's time to slowly die inside for 3 hours.
WWE Raw with, you know what?
The
There were
Brooklyn
parts
crowd.
of Raw that were enjoyable.
Yep.
I liked the
The
opening.
very first, yeah, the opening was really fun.
Rollins coming out talking shit, and then just oh my god, just the Cena coming, Dean Ambrose standing right there in the crowd,
That was
like
pretty great.
right beside him, and waits till he looks at him to attack.
That was pretty great. That was pretty great.
There were some great moments.
Every moment that was good in this week's Raw came because of one Dean Ambrose.
That has been the best part of every Raw. And that's not every good moment. I mean, there were some good ones. I mean, you started out, you had that opening scene, which was just fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because Seth Rollins has actually gotten a lot better on the mic since he's become this slimy little weasel douche.
Mm-hmm.
And like some of that stuff was really fun. And then your first match with the Usos and Ziggler and Goldust and Cesaro and them. I really liked that until I still can't stand the hey, every time a champion is in a non-title match they lose.
Mm-hmm.
That's still bugging the crap out of me, but some of the stuff in that match was
But technically,
pretty great.
there were two champions in that, where like one side had the tag team champions and the other one had the intercontinental champions. So I guess that balanced it out.
A little bit, but at the same time,
the heel
like,
champions lost. So
yeah. Some of the parts of that match were frickin' great. That triple super kick.
The triple super kick, which I like. Jesus Christ, how do you coordinate that spot?
Yeah,
Like,
no
how do you
shit.
coordinate it to where it looks like all three of you kicked Cody Rhodes in the face?
Stardust,
Stardust,
excuse
excuse
me.
me, it's
Cody
Stardust.
Rhodes is at home eating Cheetos and playing The Legend of Zelda.
Yep.
Haven't you watched any interviews with Stardust as he talks about his friend Cody?
Yeah. Talks about his friend Cody Rhodes, who is at home with his smoking hot wife while he plays Hyrule Warriors.
Sitting at home, playing Hyrule Warriors, running around,
Eating
stabbing lots
Cheetos.
of dudes, and
Eating
just eating
Cheetos.
Cheetos and getting fat.
Mm-hmm.
Letting his good buddy Stardust team up with his brother,
Mm-hmm.
and then lose matches.
Yep.
Which, still, that triple super kick, give me more of that. That was so Young Bucks. It was grand. I wanted to wear my Bullet Club shirt.
That's pretty great. Pretty great stuff.
Oh yes. Uh oh god, I don't want to move on to the next thing
We're gonna
because the
have to.
next thing was the fucking worst. Adam Rose came out with Kathy Lee and Hoda, and they couldn't even do a
And they
trust fall
all
properly.
they all rated The Godfather's Closet.
Oh my
They
god,
all rated The Godfather's Closet. I don't.
that was the worst. That was the worst.
You bring in two hoity-toity, rich, 50-plus-year-old women who are on TV for way longer than they should every morning in New York City to the Brooklyn crowd.
Yep.
They were not happy.
Oh, it was
They
bad.
had to use Adam Rose's music to drown out, unsuccessfully I might add, drown out the just gigantic boo. Just boo the entire segment. Just boo. Just like,
Wow.
mm,
It was yeah.
mm.
That was not the smartest thing
Ooh,
that
no.
WWE has done.
They had them drink on stage in a
Had
PG
them hitting each other with bottles,
with
sounding like they were
fucking
drunk off their ass.
sugar glass.
That was kind of
They
the
had,
worst.
and for some reason, Hoda was dancing at some point. It
I
was
really don't
ridiculous.
know what the fuck I watched.
I don't know what the point of that segment was. To be
Uh,
fair, I did mute it like 2 seconds in.
It
So
was it was really bad. I didn't mute anything because I felt like watching it, and I wish I feel
you,
like I have to watch everything. I
you
wish I
poor
had
soul,
muted it because god damn it.
you poor soul.
Uh,
I am like even for the sake of this show, I am not willing to subject myself to stupid.
Come
I'm
on,
not.
Hoda, trustful, trustful, Hoda, trustful, just fall back. It's like, oh god, never do that again.
Mhm. 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 Okay, so remember when I said at the beginning of the show that I had before the show, I had a morning after Raw story.
Yes, you got
So
pregnant from watching Hoda and Kathy Lee.
yeah, right. So for those of you who are watching, who are acquaintances and friends of myself and Chris, you know that affectionately most people who know me call my mother by her nickname Mama V, and she was watching Kathy Lee and Hoda in the morning after Raw, where they were saying like all of the fun experience that they had being backstage and on Raw and blah 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 blah. And I come up, or no, she comes up and and she calls me over and she's like, "Oh, don't you watch wrestling and stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah. Were they there yesterday?" I'm like, "Yeah, oh yeah, they were. They got booed out of the building." She's like, "What? Are you sure?" But they're saying they had a great time. But I'm like, Mom, they they had to pump the music of the wrestler that came with them as high as possible so that the TV audience did not hear the boos. They were unsuccessful, but the TV audience didn't hear the boos. I'm like, how do you know that? Like, I was watching. I was watching, and I have friends who were watching. And she's like, but why would they boo Kathleen Hoda? They're great. And I'm like, Mom, people your age think Kathleen Hoda are great. Everyone else doesn't. Housewives, retired people, not the people who go watch
To
Raw
watch
live.
Raw.
Yeah, to watch Raw live. So yeah, that was my story. That was
Oh,
the
Mama
morning
V.
after Raw story. Yep.
Oh,
It's pretty
boy.
funny trying to explain it to her. But yeah, let's move on. Let's get away from the segment.
Let's move
We
on
we
to
spent
an
like 5 minutes on
good.
this segment. That's more than it should.
We get a good thing that I'm actually really enjoying, which is Bo Dallas earning himself an Intercontinental Championship shot by beating the glory that is Mark Henry, who is very,
By
very angry.
beating Mark Henry.
That's
Also,
my favorite thing.
that
I'm actually really
was the
depressed that he lost his title shot to Ziggler because I was really hoping he was going to go on another super long winning spree, but every single one of his wins would be because he's such an ass that everyone just gets really pissed off and gets disqualified.
that was the fastest 10 count probably in the last 5 years. That wasn't like, a cheating ref.
Yeah,
Like that was
but
the fastest 10 count ever. Ever.
but
Usually you get like through numbers 1 through 4, then you get like a 30-second pause, then you get numbers 5 through 7, you get another 30-second pause, and you get 8, 9, and 10. This one went straight from 1 to 7, then you got like the maybe 5-second pause, and then 8, 9, 10. And
yeah,
Mark Henry was disqualified. And
but
I'm just like,
I was
if this,
really the
if
most
this,
disappointing part of the week was him losing to Ziggler on main event, or because what's the word I'm thinking? I really wanted him to go on a really long winning streak by being a fucking piss baby that pissed everyone off. Like
see,
I
if
wanted him to
this,
start having matches with Swagger, and Swagger keeps being disqualified because he's just so damn mad.
if see, here's the thing. I would want him to be in a match with Swagger because Swagger is famous for injuring people. So that would mean that Swagger would somehow end up injuring Bo Dallas, and I wouldn't have to see Bo Dallas for 4 to 6 weeks, or
I
maybe
like
four to
Bo
six
Dallas.
months. But
I really want Bo
here's
Dallas to come in. I just nothing would have entertained me more than for him to go on a big ass winning streak that involved him getting his ass kicked, but then constantly doing things that just get the other guy so infuriated that they keep getting frickin'
I mean, he doesn't have to do anything. He's Bo Dallas. That's infuriating enough.
yeah, that's the point.
So, okay, here is what I want. The Hell in a Cell pay-per-view is in 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks.
I think so. Might be 3 actually.
It is
I think this is one of the
one, two.
5 weeks between pay-per-view periods.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, anyway, so it's in 2 to 3 weeks. It's on October 26th,
Yeah.
which is about 2.5 weeks from now. Two and a little bit more than that. Whatever. What I want to happen is you get to Hell in a Cell. You have Mark Henry go up against Bo Dallas in a Hell in a Cell, and you get a repeat of the Attitude Era Undertaker Mankind match where Bo Dallas is in the shoes of Mankind getting thrown off the top of the cell, but this time he actually does break his neck and die. That's right, I'm wishing death on someone because they are fucking awful.
You are
Cannot,
so
I
fucking wrong.
cannot stress this enough. I
You
cannot
are
stress
the
this enough.
wrongest
Bo
wrong
Dallas
person to ever be
Bo Dallas
wrong.
Bo Dallas needs to get John Laryngitis. I would have been okay with them keeping
Hey,
Alex
hey,
Riley
guess who
had
was on
they John
SmackDown this
Laryngitis
week?
John Laryngitis Bo Dallas first.
Get,
Yes, who was on?
guess who's on SmackDown tomorrow?
Fucking Bo Dallas.
Fucking John Laryngitis.
Oh, it's John Laryngitis. Fuck. John Laryngitis needs to get John Laryngitis. He needs to get. Also, if you don't know who John Laryngitis is, and if you're just joining us for this episode, John Laryngitis is John Laurinaitis, who is the head of talent relations.
Who's Mr. Fucking Perfect.
Is head of talent relations in
But
WWE, which means whenever you hear of someone being fired, he's the one that he's like the public face of people getting fired in WWE. And his famous words are, we wish them well in their future endeavors," which is when someone in the industry says this person has been future endeavored, that means they got fired. So here are the top two people that in the WWE need to get future endeavored: Bo Dallas and John Laryngitis himself. Both of them need to get the fuck out. Need to be out the door. Seriously, just gone. Gone from my sight. Gone from whoever is directing creative. Also, kind of needs to get his shit together or her shit together. I don't know.
dude, you are so fucking wrong.
I am not wrong.
Yeah, bullshit.
I may be wrong on some things.
Dallas is an annoying sack of shit for
I
a
may be
reason.
wrong on some things, but not on Bo Dallas. Jesus
You
Christ, I'm not
are
wrong on Bo
getting
Dallas.
worked.
Worked by who? He has no talent to work me.
Yeah, right. That's why you hate him so much. You legitimately hate him because they want you to. It's actually working on you. It's not working on the crowds, even though it should be. Everyone should be shouting, "Bo, leave," but they
It's
aren't.
not working on the crowds because they're not the NXT crowd, and they haven't seen him be fucking terrible on NXT. That's the point. The point is, this gimmick only works on people like me who've been watching this pissant come from absolutely nothing to being handed the keys to NXT and then being handed like a set of keys to a fucking Prius on Raw.
Okay, well, we need to move on, just like Dean Ambrose hopped on a train and ran off to Coney Island.
Yes, that is the
And
greatest thing.
let's
That was
move
so
on
good.
because Brie Bella then beat Summer Rae with her arm tied behind her back, so now she has been
Better than
now she
Summer
only
Rae
has
somehow.
one match to go before she has totally outdone all the handicap matches that Nikki was in,
Hmm.
which is the last one of her facing 6 people or whatever the fuck it was.
Hmm. To be fair, the fact that they booked Brie Bella winning over Summer Rae and it still looked somewhat convincing, you know, yeah,
They're
I could see that.
they're doing a really good job with Brie,
Which is
and
interesting.
which is kind of great because Brie is so fucking over with crowds.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it's not
speaking
just
of
the
which,
her doing the yes chance thing. Like she's been over for a long time.
speaking of which, so outside of, WWE proper, I actually walked over to Mama V a couple of days ago, and guess what was on television?
Total divas.
Yeah, total fucking divas. And this is a thing that I was not prepared for because it showed. I'm guessing Nikki Bella and John Cena working out together, and John Cena was talking about how Daniel Bryan is one of those guys that he used a car analogy actually because John Cena's a car guy. So he used an analogy where uh, Daniel Bryan is one of those guys where he'll hear really weird noises in his car and just bang on the dashboard until it goes away and then say, "Hey, we're okay." Whereas in John Cena is a guy who's like, "There's some weird noise in this car. Let's go get it checked out," which is like his whole thing of like, well, I did a thing with my neck, and I went to this doctor and this doctor and this doctor, and I was back really quickly. While as well, in the case of Total Divas, they're using real names. So Bryan Danielson uh, goes to uh, doesn't really do that, which is why he's taking forever to. and he was giving, that kind of thing. But again, this goes to my point from last week, where is who is watching Total Divas? Housewives
Yeah.
or retired women.
Which is why the Total Divas setup matches always like I don't mind Summer Rae and Brie because that wasn't just a this is a Total Divas match. No, that's still part of the whole storyline with Brie and Nikki,
Mhm.
which isn't just Total Divas.
Mhm.
It's like when you have the frickin' matches show up where it's like, hey, here's all these Eva Marie and is in an argument with Natalia, so they're having a match. Those are garbage matches with no point and should not be on there.
Mhm.
Like the Total
Because the
Divas
people
stuff,
watching
it's
that
like
shit.
it's like because this last Sunday on Total Divas she said mean things. It's like that was 6 months ago.
That's a go. And also, nobody in this fucking audience is goddamn watching this. Like nobody in this audience. Maybe, maybe, maybe like some of the women in the front row or some of the women somewhere in the crowd have possibly watched an episode of two of Total Divas.
Yeah,
And that's a huge maybe. Huge maybe.
yeah, and that oh god, it's I don't know why they do those. Like those are the matches that just need to go. You know what you need to do? You need to get these girls actual feuds.
Mhm.
Like you need to have Natalia fucking feud with someone so she can put on a goddamn match like she did with Charlotte.
Mhm.
Like give me that Natalia back rather than Total Divas Natalia, which unless Total Divas Natalia continues to be the one that keeps going, hey, give Tyson a chance, give him a match, give him a match to all the GMs
Yeah.
because I really, 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 really like Tyson Kidd.
Mhm.
Which, speaking of which, he wrestled Jack Swagger, and Jack Swagger jumped off the top rope and almost looked like he broke his leg.
Yep.
That Patriot lock. That
Mhm.
looked nasty, and that was I'm pretty sure that was a bit of a botch. But
It still looked really cool though.
it did. Like freaking Tyson Kidd is like he is putting on incredible work right now, and he is
Mhm.
wrestling like a bastard.
Also, it's funny because they've got like, hey, we're gonna actually show you a relationship between a heel and a face.
Hmm.
Except when it comes to Juan Cena, because they have completely pushed that to the side. It's like, oh hey, Nikki's a ooh ooh hmm yeah about that whole thing with like us kind of telling you that no, we're,
Yeah.
we're not we're not mentioning this because Juan Cena would never associate with the heel. No.
Yeah, that is the weird thing. It's like, like this is the perfect opportunity for when Daniel Bryan comes back, he turns John Cena heel just by having him team up with his wife.
That's pretty funny.
But no, like when it comes down to it, there was a lot of garbage this Raw, but the wrestling matches were actually really good. Some of them, like the Kid Swagger match was great.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like I am just like Tyson Kidd right now is like my favorite. And part of that comes from just him finally finding a character in NXT which works really really well.
I'm still like weirded out by the fact that I don't know. I think it was like 4 or 5 months ago where they're um the 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 rumor or the insider report or something excuse me, was that the WWE was like, or creative and such were like so apologetic to Tyson about like screwing him over in so many ways that they were just gonna scrap him as a character and give him a mask and just have him wrestle, which is really weird considering that they're like, hey, here's Tyson Kidd again.
Like right now is like Tyson Kidd is him as this garbage piss baby. He's doing the whiny little weasel better than Seth Rollins is, and Seth Rollins is incredible at being a whiny little fucking weasel.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also being shitty to his wife, which is extra heat.
Mm-hmm.
And just God, he is next level heel right now. I haven't seen this kind of work from anyone in a long time at just making me hate them in like 2 seconds. They don't even have to talk. As soon as he starts pushing Natalia in front of him, in front of Jack Swagger, it's like, God, you fucking asshole.
Yep.
Like, how good is he at that stuff? It's freaking great,
He's pretty good at it.
you know. And then Raw continued with the most important segment of the night, where Roman Reigns came in and said nothing.
Yep.
Hey guys, I'm injured. I'm still injured.
Surgery.
I'll be back soon. Bye.
Surgery.
Now I have to go so you guys can watch El Torito wrestle a minigator. And the crowd was so fucking wrong about that match because it was great. El Torito is great.
I'll give you that. El Torito's great.
Frickin' Hornswoggle is putting together some actual, like, good work. And constantly being dumb in his little gator costume.
I reiterate from last week why just why. Like, I get it. Like, it kind of... Okay. Okay. I'm going to play devil's advocate to myself here. So, they have... What's the politically correct term? Little people? Right? Or small person? Whatever. They have small person wrestlers because it is a, affirmative... I don't know. I wouldn't call it affirmative action, but it's like a balance... I don't know. Some weird balance thing. Whatever.
Because El Torito knows how to go, and Hornswoggle has been
Right.
part of the WWE. Is actually one of the higher ups in the WWE creative.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh my god. That... Oh, that's... Oh god, that's Vince Russo quality shit, man.
No, it's great.
No. When you're in creative, don't put yourself in shit. Oh my god.
I don't know if he still is. I know he was at one point.
I'm in shock. Like I am in shock. All the memories of Vince Russo just straight into my head. The best part is that fucking GIF where it's like this one guy. It's fucking Vince Russo in like all white and a mask and whatever, and he's in the middle of the ring, and he pulls his fucking mask off and throws it at whatever wrestler he was feuding with at the time, and I'm just like. I can't do it. I can't.
No, see, the thing is Torito's got to have someone to go against.
Right.
Because Torito can fucking go. I honestly want to see another El Torito Heath Slater match where El Torito just wins.
That's because Heath Slater is good at losing.
Yep.
Heath Slater
is my favorite.
Good at being bad. He's
so dumb. I love him.
Yeah.
Like all his segments on the JBL and Cole show. Well, Uncle JBL, are so fantastic. But in an even more surprising turn than the fact that I like Torito and the Minigator, The Rock showed up.
That is the most surprising part. I was actually in the middle of the Vault of Glass, which is the Destiny raid, for those who don't know. I was in the middle of the Vault of Glass, and everyone except for one person in that raid, is a wrestling fan, and everyone just turned to their screens and went, "What? The
Oh, as
Rock
soon as
is
that
here?
music hit, I popped hard.
Where did we?"
Even though I knew exactly what his promo was going to be and I was dead on, except this time he's actually getting better because he took out the casual homophobia and just went with the casual frickin'
Xenophobia?
sexism.
Right.
You know, it's that part bugged the crap out of me, but for the most part, it was a Rock promo. He came out, he beat the guy up,
It was tamey sexism. It was
yeah,
it was
it
pretty
was
much
tame for the Rock. Like,
yeah, it was pretty much just going like, "Oh hey, Lana's really hot looking on TV. In person, better."
aha,
Okay.
Soviet Streetwalker, get it trending on Twitter.
Yeah, it's also the thing. Yeah.
That's like, oh, let's go with our casual misogyny, Rock. But then
Yeah.
again, that's more than I've liked the Rock in a lot of things.
Mhm.
Wrestling wise, the last few times he's come back, I mean, the last two times it's just been gay jokes at John Cena.
Mhm.
Let's just point out how gay John Cena is and call
And
Vicky Guerrero a bitch over and over again.
yep,
But then again, you know, God, I still popped hard. That music hit and shit.
you you popped harder than the Miz getting to meet The Rock at some point, because that
Yep.
was a thing. That was the thing.
God, I was just glad. Hey, there was a big surprise, and it surprised me.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then your next match was AJ Lee going heel and leaving Emma behind to get her ass kicked by Paige and Alicia Fox, who are the crazy duo.
Mhm.
And
That was. I
one
mean, that
thing
was
I'll
okay.
say about this match, I really like that Brooklyn crowd because the whole night, the one thing we did not hear all night,
CM Punk.
there wasn't a single CM Punk chant.
See, but here's my thing. Here's my thing. The one chant they did do offends me because I'm a Red Sox fan and fuck Derek Jeter and any other Yankee ever. So you know
Uh,
that whole hashtag like RE2PECT that people have had this entire season.
I have no fucking clue what that is.
It's respect, but with a two because Derek
Um,
Jeter's number is a two.
you know how much I pay attention to baseball? I started watching last week as the Giants played in the playoffs.
Oh, okay. Well then,
I got
you.
all 5 games.
I guess you don't know where I'm coming from then.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Baseball is not my thing. Now, if you wanted to say he was a classic LA King, I would be standing here going, I hope they light that motherfucker on fire.
Yeah, pretty much. Just let's go with that. Let's go with whatever the rivalry is with the LA. Who is the? It's LA
I'm a
Kings versus.
Sharks fan.
Okay, so it's the
LA
Sharks
Kings
versus the
can suck
Kings.
my ass.
Wait, isn't? Aren't they both from California? Isn't that San
Yes,
Antonio?
they are. But the
Okay.
LA Kings need to be lit on fire and
Okay.
shipped out to sea and never allowed to come back to America.
Okay. So imagine if you will, that I am a Sharks fan, and Derek Jeter is a lifer Kings player, and
Okay,
he and he is
has he
and he is
purposefully injured any of your players on purpose?
no.
Okay, then you still
Derek
don't hate him
Derek
as much as I hate Dustin Brown.
no, Derek Jeter, for all intents and purposes, is a class act. He's a class act. He is,
See,
however. See,
see
hold on,
then then we don't have anything in
hold,
common.
Chris, hold the fuck on. He is, however, hilariously overrated. He is not the best player on the field right now. He is by far also not the best Yankee on the field right now. He is also not the best Yankee of all time, which is like some of the shit that's been thrown at him in the last year or two. Also, he's made a giant like show of his retirement, which no one else has done. Like he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm retiring after this season," and everything is just like this whole Derek Jeter parade. But besides that, I'm a Red Sox fan. Anyone in a Yankees uniform can go fuck themselves. Anyone. I don't care who it is. It could be my mother. I don't give a fuck. You're a Yankee, go fuck yourself. This is the random baseball part of the show.
Welcome to the random baseball chat where he explains to me what it's like to hate the Yankees.
Yes.
It's okay.
Anywho. Yeah.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I understand hate.
Mm-hmm. So
I truly do.
About AJ abandoning Emma and that stuff. So here's an interesting tidbit. You know what happened when AJ revealed Emma? Fucking nothing.
Yeah.
There was no pop. There was no reaction. There was literally silence as to who is this?
They need.
Who the fuck is this?
She's got to be set. She's kind of got to go back to NXT for a bit and repackage herself. Or they need to give her a goddamn mic and let her actually start wrestling rather than doing the... Because she's doing her stupid bullshit in the ring rather than wrestling. It's not wrestling anymore.
Nope.
She's dumb Santino Emma still. And that's bugging the crap out of me because...
Because they're focused on this being her gimmicks, that's all. And... you know what? That wasn't the problem in NXT because in NXT she did the stupid fucking bubble popping weird half Nazi-ish kind of thing, but she still beat the shit out of other people. She still put on really good, amazing matches.
She was a heel with that gimmick. Like she came out like that, but then was a total hoss in the ring. And
she still put on really good matches with. Paige, no less. With Paige, no less. And then they put her, then, again, like I said last week, you debut someone with Santino and you basically fuck them.
Well, Santino can be great, but the way they did it and then didn't allow her, and they still have her just being this dumb Santino's girlfriend thing, it's... It's like, look, if you don't have Santino there in the background, you gotta stop it because she can be a comedy wrestler if you want, but God, she can wrestle so well.
And I mean, the gimmick can be the comedy stuff, but like, let her wrestle, let her do the thing that made her someone people liked in NXT, because if this was the thing that they were gonna bring up, that she was gonna bring to NXT, she would have been laughed out of the goddamn building.
Yeah, the whole thing is bugging me with her because I love her so much, but she's being wasted. And I hate wasted talent. It's kind of the same way it's really bugging me. And then, okay, we got to move on because that really kind of drives me crazy, especially the AJ bailing on the match thing. Because AJ just walking out, like, AJ, you're not a heel. Stop doing this. Stop. Like, once they started beating her up, you should have ran back into the ring, saved her, and been a face. Otherwise, all you've got is, like, a women's division that's, like, 5 heels and 1 comedy wrestler. And Brie.
Right.
And it's, okay. Let's move on to the best point of the night, which was Damien Sandow Go out there, watch the Damien Sandow cam version of the match because it's absolutely incredible. Uh,
I will, however, tell you to
but The
mute it.
Miz beat Sheamus, and The Miz is damn good in the ring all of a sudden.
I will tell you to mute it, however, because the douchebag holding the camera is a New York douchebag. So, you know.
Oh boy, he makes it's like, man, I would so much rather hang out with Enzo Amore than with you.
Yeah, pretty much. But yes, again, coming back to last week, like I said before, Chris, Damien Sandow is the best part of that gimmick.
Yes.
Damien Sandow is the best
Damien
part of the gimmick,
Sandow is the best
not,
part of that fucking story.
and he's not the one wrestling. He's not the one getting the push. He's not the one
Yes,
on
he
the
is.
microphone.
You idiot! Like he had a segment where he was the talker before that. He was the one talking to Kane the most. He
He
was the
was the
one
one.
coming back in and taking the flowers back.
He was the one talking to
It's
Ken.
he is
I guess
like if you
WWE has
can't tell,
finally
this whole
figured it
damn
out.
thing is building to a Damien Sandow face turn that is going to be incredible. And how I think is going to happen is this. They are going to get put in a triple threat or even a four-way match with Cesaro, but it'll probably be a triple threat with Mizdow against Ziggler for the title, and they're going to both do they're both going to Miz is going to do something to get the pin, except Mizdow is going to mimic him and have his arm underneath, so Mizdow is the one that's given the title. And this whole thing is going to end with Damien Sandow with the Intercontinental title. There is no other way. Like, because this whole thing is just building Damien Sandow. He is getting so over. It's incredible.
See, but this is the WWE.
Yeah.
They have made plenty of really dumb decisions
Yeah, but they've
before.
also, when they've seen something working and somebody really, really working their ass off to make something work, they will give them a push. And here's the thing about everyone who complains about Damien Sandow being buried are idiots because you know what? Who's on TV every single week for like the past 2 years, even if it's for 2 seconds?
Damien Sandow.
Damien Sandow is on TV all the time. Even when everyone was talking about how he was getting buried, and then he got dumb cosplay Sandow, which was great. He came out was an asshole, but now he's gotten to the point where his dumb gimmick is so likable that he is going to Bad News Barrett the fuck out of this.
Bad News Barrett is the like stepping stone to where Barrett should be, which is like Bond villain Barrett.
Oh God. Bad News Barrett is so great. It's such a great gimmick. And
It's a great gimmick. I really hate the fact that they like eventually started calling him Bad News Barrett as
I
like his
loved it.
in-ring thing, and I'm like, no, it's Wade fucking Barrett. He's just the guy who gives you bad news. Don't call him Bad News Barrett. That's
It's the
dumb.
Bad News Bullhammer. Gosh, see. That's the one thing I'm kind of mad about is since he got injured, he's just disappeared. I wanted him to come back, and even if they couldn't bring his giant gavel with him,
Mm-hmm.
he should still be out there banging a gavel on a podium on the frickin' entrance ramp every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. I've got some bad news.
Yes, and just be a dick.
Mm-hmm.
Be the mouthpiece of Triple H. It would be fantastic. But they're not letting him have that,
It's
which
weird,
is
but oh
sad.
well.
Oh God.
Is it main event time, or we still have some
It
things to
is
do?
not. There's one thing to talk about before the main event, which is I thought it was just going to keep being Luke Harper getting that same promo every week, but they finally gave one to Eric Rowan, and Jesus Christ, the ending of it when they're flashing pictures of like fucking spiders and shit, that's gonna
Mhm.
give me nightmares for fucking weeks.
Mhm.
That was
Mhm.
some next level ring shit.
That was some next level creepy shit.
I feel like in 7 days, Eric Rowan is going to come crawling out of my television and murder me.
It's um, it's rather interesting that they're doing that whole like, hey, the Wyatt family is still a thing, but they're now all singles wrestlers.
Well, what I kind of like is they've taken him off TV for the month, and they're rebuilding them as actual scary motherfuckers because for the
Mhm.
last like 2 months they've just been the guys who lose to the Usos
Yep.
or Stardust. Hell, I'm surprised they haven't lost to the Matadors yet. Because yeah, they've been.
This is the thing is though, like, I love the promos from fucking Bray Wyatt. Like that is some shit, man. That is some grade A, like, holy hot dog hell, this man can say things.
He's
Holy
almost as good
shit.
as Enzo Amore.
Like, Enzo's like the top tier for silly shit. Bray Wyatt is the top tier for, oh my god, am I going to be able to sleep tonight?
He's a
Or
scary motherfucker.
dear God, I'm never going to Florida. Like,
Yeah, he
I will never step foot anywhere near any of the Florida swamps. Jesus Christ.
like he's been really good at that, but he kind of got away from it, and he's just been once the whole world in his hands thing started,
Hmm.
he kind of lost me.
That was really cool for a while, but when it was the only thing he was saying, like that's what kind of killed it.
It became his whole gimmick, and it's like, I'm sorry, he's singing fucking nursery rhymes. He's not scary anymore. He's doing it to Chris Jericho. Why the fuck is he doing it to Chris Jericho? John Cena does have the whole world in his hands. He's the king of the fucking mountain, but
Hmm.
no, I just really like the actual push they're getting with this as going back to just being scary motherfuckers.
Hmm.
So main event time, John Cena got his ass kicked.
Yay!
It was pretty great. Then Dean Ambrose
Yay!
came in with a hot dog cart,
Yep.
and
By the way, I love how prepared the WWE cameramen are. They're like, "Hey, let's go take B-roll of the subway." Oh shit, Dean Ambrose is here.
oh god, I really loved the him just rolling down the cart. I like to picture that he ran all the way there with the cart that he stole from Coney Island, and then
How would he?
tongued fucking Seth Rollins in the dick
That's
because
pretty funny.
God, that
I don't know which segment was better, the Dean Ambrose fire sale or the hot dog cart, because they were both
this
fucking
one
hysterical.
because it ended with him fucking nailing a brutal DDT on John Cena,
Yep.
just turning around, fuck you, giving the crazy eyes and nailing him after, hey, they're gonna have a match at Hell in a Cell, which I guess is like there's going to be stipulations announced on 15th anniversary SmackDown tomorrow.
guess what? Stipulation is this: whichever person wins gets a fucking shot at
Well, we know
Rollins
that part, but
afterwards. Yeah.
it's like I don't know if it's like something like a I don't know. It'll probably be some dumb specialty match, but even then, there's no way that Dean Ambrose loses that match.
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a 90%, 90% to 10% that Dean Ambrose wins, and then there's the 10% creative fuckery that is Juan Cena. So,
That is John Cena.
yep.
But the thing is Ambrose is so fucking over right now, and John Cena himself, if I like actually does want to put guys over, so I'm really hoping they allow him to put Ambrose over because you are right. There is that 10% of me going, yeah, he's going to take 18 suplexes from Brock Lesnar and then still fucking win the match.
Yep.
Like every time he hit one of those AAs out of nowhere in that SummerSlam match, I was like, oh my god, are you fucking kidding?
Yep.
Here he's going to win, but then it's
Mm-hmm.
like Brock Lesnar kick out at 1.
Yep. Yep.
But no, I'm really, really hoping that
The 10% doesn't come true.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly, because that will be. I think that'll be a good match, and I think whoever's in the Hell in a Cell is going to get their ass kicked by Seth Rollins, and probably curb stomped through the top of the cell.
Possible.
Dude, that would be incredible. I doubt it would actually happen, but that would be a fucking spot.
It would be a pretty interesting spot.
It definitely, like, it would be. It is.
Yep.
I don't know.
We'll have to see in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it's 2.5 weeks from now. We'll have a lot to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Or
3 weeks.
3 weeks from now.
Because 2.5 weeks is the pay-per-view, and then 3 weeks would be the show.
Yeah,
But anyway, yeah.
Point. I'm not exactly smart when it comes to maths.
Mm.
But yeah, I think I'm interested to see what they do. Like, when I actually go back over that Raw, it wasn't actually that terrible, outside of the fact that there were like fucking 45, 50 minutes of goddamn recap videos.
And Kathleen Hoda.
Yeah. And that's like, oh god, just we don't need 40 minutes of recap for stuff that happened 10 minutes ago.
Yep.
Like, I understand some of it, like have some Dean Ambrose Cena recap after the Rock segment, because that's halftime during the football game, so people might come around to watch the main event.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, they were doing recaps every 5 minutes. It was just like, holy shit, stop! Fuck. That's one thing they need to stop, because you could have had another 2 really, really freaking good matches in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You could have given some of your mid-carders some time.
Yep.
Instead, hey, we don't want to actually let Kofi wrestle this week, so let's throw some recap together for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's depressing. So, favorite moment of the week for you?
Dean Ambrose going to Coney Island. Like, not even the hot gut card. I'm serious. Like, my favorite moment was, hey, let's shoot some B-roll. Oh, hey, it's Dean Ambrose. I guess we got to shoot him now.
Getting into the subway and heading off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you notice, there's actually like 5 video cuts in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they must have filmed him getting on the getting on that
On
thing
the
like
subway
four
like 3 or 4
times.
times, yeah.
It was, oh man. But yeah, that was pretty good. If I have to say best moment of the week for me, it's gonna be really weird me saying it, but TNA, the shit with Ethan Carter the third and Rockstar Spud is fucking incredible.
We're actually mentioning TNA on the show now. Huh, interesting.
We are like
Uh,
I would almost say watch TNA, even though it's 99% garbage. But uh, best moment of this week is the breakup between Ethan Carter the third and Rockstar Spud has been so good that I have been watching TNA regularly again just for that 10 minutes every week. The rest is garbage. It's pretty much just Jessica Havoc destroying Gail Kim and then other things, but Ethan Carter the third and Spud, I give points to that. But if I choose WWE thing, Sami Zayn being best friends with Adrian Neville and then getting saved by Adrian Neville at the end there
mm-hmm.
was probably my favorite moment because Adrian Neville's been such a dick. It's like, oh, he came up for the save. I was actually legitimately worried that he was going to get killed by a giant flying gator.
Mm-hmm.
But it was good stuff.
Yep. Good stuff.
I'm hoping more. At least the wrestling quality of Raw is good, while the writing is pretty much fucking garbage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping to at least continue that next week, although I'm not keeping up much hope because the writing stuff is not good right now. But
Also, I wish someone at WWE, someone would go up to Vince and go, "Hey, look, here's this report on all the numbers of Susan G. Komen. It's kind of bad that we're supporting them."
mm-hmm. Thank you. Let's actually support one of the other people. It's like,
Doesn't take a huge cut of the money of the donations.
well, the NFL does Susan G. I remember the
Mm-hmm.
Oregon Ducks were going to do that, but then they chose a completely different charity because they researched it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they give to a different breast cancer charity, but still wear pink.
Yeah.
So that breast cancer research charity will probably be sued by Susan G. Komen because
Eventually. Pink is their thing, which is, I don't think you can own a color, but
yeah, it's really bad.
with how copyright laws are like ancient and stupid in this country, and
Well, not ancient. They just
well,
keep being updated so that they protect people like Disney more than they actually protect anyone else.
yeah, no, it's patent laws that are ancient
Yes.
and dumb. Um,
Yes.
but yeah. So before we leave the show today, I want to introduce. I know this is only the second episode, but I want to introduce a new segment. Every week, one of us, or at least every couple of weeks, whenever we think about it, one of us is going to talk about very briefly a storyline in either of the two, either in any of the promos or the promotions that you wanted to see fulfilled, or do you want to see go a little further? And this, to me, is probably the most hypocritical I can be, because this storyline stars one Juan Cena. And let me take you back to like a year and a half ago when they weren't sure what to do with my boy D-Bry, and so they threw him into the Wyatt family. So here's what I wanted. What I wanted was to, instead of Daniel Bryan immediately turn on the Wyatt family, which is what happened, I wanted this gimmick to go far into like maybe even WrestleMania, where one Juan Cena was not in the title picture. He was instead going up against Bray Wyatt for the soul of Daniel Bryan, and his entire like war cry was "Give me back my friend, give me back my friend." That's all I wanted.
Give me
All I
back my
wanted.
brother!
Give me back my buddy. Give me back. Give me back Daniel Bryan. That's all I wanted. All I wanted was like Bray Wyatt versus John Cena for the soul of Daniel Bryan. And Juan Cena's fucking battle cry was "Give me back my friend." That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. I would have been so happy with that. I would have been so happy with that. I would have completely ignored the fact that fucking Batista and Randy Orton were in the title hunt. I wouldn't give a shit about that. I would have been like, it's fucking John Cena and Bray Wyatt going up against each other for the soul of Daniel Bryan. That's all I wanted. I
Oh
wanted that to go
man,
far, man. That would have been so good.
that
I
would have
would
been
have loved it. I would have loved that.
that would have been fucking great. Oh god, like if I had to choose one, it would be somewhat similar in that it would actually be Batista, except instead of introducing them when they did, introducing him right after Guardians came out. After the movie had come out. So
Hmm.
instead of being this jackass Hollywood celebrity there to just promote a movie that's coming soon, he's that super likable guy that was the best part of this movie, and we all love him and are super glad to see him back.
Except he would still be wearing skinny jeans.
Yes, yes. Still the same skinny jean wearing Batista, but I actually really liked the stuff he was doing. Like his match at WrestleMania and then the stuff against the Shield and stuff like that would have been just as good as if he wasn't like you could have had him in a face match with him, Daniel Bryan. Like you wouldn't have ended up losing. I wouldn't have given him the title. I still would have had that go to Daniel Bryan like it did. But he would have been over in a way where he would have been able to continue being a face and liked guy, and you would have continued having the Shield be heels and still had that same feud, but it would have given Daniel Bryan something to do that wasn't Kane. Because it
Right.
would have you would have taken your three top faces and having them go against the Shield month after month. And you could have actually had some competitive matches rather than just the Shield beating the hell out of Evolution.
Right.
I just really liked Batista. I really did. Once he got back into shape, and the fact that he was actually doing house shows unlike most other guys who come back,
Hmm.
like you could actually tell that he actually cared about wrestling. Unlike Rock or The Rock coming back for 2 months, doesn't do any house shows or anything. Batista, house shows. We're having
Hmm.
some fun. I don't know. I just wish there was a way, like, he could have come back and been appreciated. Anyway, that's it for this week. Join us again next week when we'll be talking about Raw and maybe main event if it's any good, and maybe
NXT.
NXT, which we'll definitely be talking about, hopefully,
Hmm.
and will be have been totally caught up with us.
Yep.
You can join us this Sunday. We're going to be talking about comic books, as the Nerdstock Comics podcast is recording this weekend. Same way, talking about comics on Sunday night.
Yep. I might be there. I might not. We'll see.
Exactly. He's going to be the random joiner.
Okay.
Enjoy the evening, everyone. We're out.